I'm not seeing audio. I'm gonna go back on my station and pull that up. Let me see if I can.
for me? Hello, everybody. Welcome. Uh-oh. I'm going to need a gong, I think. Good night, everybody. Can we have some attention up here, please? We want to get the program started. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Welcome to the Great River Arts, where creativity meets community. Tonight, we're here to celebrate Charles Kapsner's 12th annual Salon. I was asked to start it off, and since they gave me the microphone, I have to do a plug for Great River Arts. We're a nonprofit. Thank you. Organization serving the greater Morrison County area. Some of the upcoming shows we have on 10/22, Polymer City Glass will be here. 10/26, Sip and Paint class will be offered. 10/28, Naomi Hart Artist Reception. 11/3 is our open mic night, which is becoming more and more popular every year. And 12/5 is Ladies Night Out. So I'm sure all you gentlemen will be interested in that. Also, Carla and Erica, who don't help, they run the organization. If you see what you like to become a member, we're more than happy to have you. See one of those two and they'll get you signed up. And with that, we're going to go into the program. It is my pleasure and honor to introduce the mayor of our fair city, Mr. Greg Zilka. That was nice.
Mark just took away about half my script because he said he was going to be smart enough, and I said, remember, I get the mic after you. Thanks for everybody coming out this evening. Charles and I have a long history. Unfortunately, my wife said I've told my 9th grade art joke way too many times, so she told me to drop that this year. Charles and I graduated together, and we were friends in high school. And then after he traveled all over the world, and I went to Wilmer Junior College for 2 quarters, got back to Little Falls, and I worked at Coburn's for 42 years. And Charles would stop in frequently, and we became closer and closer friends. And then the Historic Art Project came about, and we became even closer friends because we spent about 10 years together on that. And the best part about that was spending the time with Charles and Catherine. I got to learn so much more about Charles, that he's not just an artist, he's a visionary, he's a historian, he's just so many things. And he's been so great to the veterans community. He's been so great for our community. We're just lucky that Charles was born in Little Falls, Minnesota, and has come back here. So we usually get in a couple phone calls a week, and have a lot of good conversation. And every once in a while, we go out to the biking club, and hopefully you run into the general out there once in a while. But that's all I have. Thank you all for coming. Charles, proud to call you a friend. Keep up the great work. You're amazing. And Charles Kapsner.
Well, unlike everybody else, I prepared some remarks so I don't forget anything. But first thing I wanted to ask Mark, when that sip and paint thing was going on. That's I'm doing that all the time anyway, but I just thought I'd come down here. But anyhow, thank you so much. Thank you, Mark and Mayor Zilka, for being here tonight. Welcome us back to Salon 2022, and it's great to be here. While the Salon has been held virtually for the past 2 years, there's nothing quite like the energy of an evening together.
That was always the point of the original salons in Europe, to unite artists and patrons. I also extend a very warm welcome to those who are watching us on the Great River Arts channel as we live stream the salon for the very first time. I believe that we have even some friends, family watching from various states and overseas, which is amazing. And if I can throw in a little statement, good morning, Jessica. You should be having coffee in Kuwait right now. She's not here tonight, but she is the lady with the police uniform on. Thanks for tuning in, and from whatever time zone you are. As I told them, pour a glass of wine, and it would be almost like you're right here with us, except if it's early morning. Each year I bring a different flavor to the event, yet maintain continuity, ensuring that it's both collaborative and celebrates artists from many realms. This year truly spotlights and celebrates women. Amazing women from the Minnesota National Guard and Air Guard who modeled for the painting I'm showcasing tonight, and 3 multi-talented visual artists who share the gallery. As you will hear in a bit, one of the artists has a very strong military background as well. As far as musical talent, you've all had a chance to witness some of that, and that is the fantastic young Piers Jazz Art Band. All right. And they'll be back, don't worry. We'll try not to keep it too long. My hope for the salon is that patrons and friends in attendance experience a creative evening in this exceptional venue, the Great River Arts. We're fortunate to have this facility in town. As far as visual art, it is the best venue in Minnesota, certainly central Minnesota, but we're hard pressed to find something as great as this. I firmly believe that there is a myth that arts and culture can only be found in big cities. Well, look around you tonight. Talk to the artists, learn their stories, invest in their art, and be part of the salon. And hopefully a year from now, you all notice the movie theater's marquee is lit up tonight. Well, hopefully that'll be open soon, so downtown will become even stronger. Thank you, Susie, for that. It was at the very first salon in 2008 where I was approached by Gordon Gerling with the possibility of doing something for the committee hall at the Minnesota State Veterans Cemetery. From that initial conversation began my work and ties to the military, and from that, the expansion to tonight's painting theme, Women on Guard. The key to the success is that the idea of this painting is right, the timing is right, the subject matter is right, and the stories of the 5 women, Captain Takesha Hunt, Captain Catherine Marsh, First Sergeant Jessica Stiffarm, Staff Sergeant Masi Akamune, and Specialist Ashley Barber, are stories that must be told. Women's stories matter, and the importance of my own artistic mentor, Narina Simi, is single-handedly the reason why I'm standing here tonight as the artist I am. I cannot completely capture or express the impact she has. Her early critiques of my work in the spring of 1974 at her studio in Florence, Italy, began my artistic relationship with her, and nearly 50 years after my initial studies, Women on Guard is a critically important piece of storytelling that spotlights the multi-layered stories of women of the Minnesota National Guard and their roles aside from the Guard, not separate from one another, but melded together. While the uniforms they wear reflect one aspect of their lives, look closely at the paintings to see other parts of their lives, visual props, activities, and important cultural symbols of their work and personal lives. Yet the theme is what unites all women, the universality of their story. And at this point, I'd like to just sort of break away from it and just say that this is something that's been, on my mind for a long time. And I think when it comes to looking at today and the role of women in life, I've been very fortunate because obviously all of us have a mother. So, mom was probably your first favorite, woman who took care of you. But for me, I was very lucky to go to Florence, Italy and meet Narina Simi and have that strong tie and have such a strong artist, a woman of her caliber, be my mentor and teacher. And her wisdom to us always was, remember, nature is your teacher, I am just your guide. And then from there, I can say Laura Jane Musser, who many of you may have remembered or known, was my philosophical mentor. Laura Jane and I just always had a wonderful time, and she became very close and had an incredible mind and always had great stories to share. And it was through her that I met the Lindbergh family and got very involved with Lindbergh-related paintings and stories for many, many years. And so with that said, I look to today to, where and how women's roles are very important. And so back on September 17th, the painting was down at the Women's Leadership Forum that was sponsored by the National Guard and Air Guard. And it was held at the General Mills corporate headquarters in North Minneapolis. And there were, I believe, 320 people in attendance. And the painting was very well received. People were very happy and proud. And as I heard later on, there were a lot of people who were jealous of our models, all of a sudden saying, how come I'm not in that painting? Well, I guess you had to be in the right place at the right time. But I mean, you know, it goes to that when we look again to all of what's happening in today's world. I think this is very important that we just see strong leadership on the part of women and what they can do and how they can advance many, many causes. And so that is really one of the big reasons why I chose to do something like this. But also when it comes to showcasing these women of the military, so let you know that also their lives are just like ours. You know, they get up every morning, you know, they serve our country, they keep things safe and protect us, but also they have very important things they do in their own lives. And so by having the 5 women who have modeled in the studio to tell their stories, because when they're sitting and modeling for the portraits and things like that, it's just not a matter of, okay, keep your mouth shut, we're just going to sit here. You know, we're conversing. And so everybody has a different view, aspect of life when I look at what all of them have brought to me and their stories. And they're all going to be interviewed, and these will be available once the painting does find its final home, which will be at the Minnesota Military Museum. Prior to that, it has a few tours it's going to be doing. It's going to be at the Minnesota State Capitol building between January 3rd and 13th of next year, and then going to the Cedar Avenue Armory, where the Adjutant General is at, and that's going to be until, I believe, February 6th. And then we're hoping some other venues, and then eventually at Studio Pintura, right? Put in a plug here. So with that, 4 of the models are here tonight, and I'd like to introduce them, and please have you come up here. So everyone has already noticed you. I'm sorry, Takesha, but I said you didn't have to talk. So at any rate, first we'll have Captain Hunt, please come up. Now, Captain Catherine Marsh. And I have to change my lead for Masi because she is now a Staff Sergeant Masi Akamude. And Specialist Ashley Barber. So additionally, the gallery includes works and paintings and sculptures by 3 outstanding women whose artistry is undeniable. Lois Romberg, Linda Marsh, and Michelle Freyanchik. Lois and Linda are here this evening. They're based in Minneapolis, and would like them to join us on stage also. This is Lois, and there's Linda. Lois Romberg is a Minneapolis-based fine artist specializing in paintings and sculptures of people. I got to know Lois through Studio Pintura, a fine art gallery and studio, which she operates in partnership with Armando Gutierrez, right here, and where they represent my work. But also, I think our relationship goes back a little further with the Portrait Society of America. That's how we initially met, so we are members of that organization. And then we have recently retired Air Force Major General Linda Marsh, whose artistic talents are apparent here. And her sculptures are impactful, stunning, and thought-provoking. I think you've all agreed with that, eh? Michelle Freyanchik wasn't able to be here tonight, but she has been part of the past salons going back to, I believe, about 2015 or 16. So in addition to the artists this evening, comes together due to collaborative efforts of our sponsors. Coburn's Liquor, they're over there. Coburn's Food and Thielen Meats also provide food for tonight. And they're always an exceptional partner in making tonight a great evening, so please join me in thanking. Also, especially Erica, Mark, and Tony for all the work they've done to put this together. Tony is busy always complaining about the frames we bring to him, but they'll keep coming, Tony. Now, at this point, there's one very important, long overdue thing I would like to say, and that is to recognize the most important woman in my life is my wife, Catherine. So now it's your turn today. Just good. Women on Guard came about as another collaborative with her. While the idea for a woman-focused military painting was percolating in my mind for a while, making it happen was a direct and happy result of being awarded an individual artist grant from the Minnesota State Arts Board and the Five Wings Arts Council. You see, she is a terrific writer, and her career has largely been a grant writer, and she often told me, I am the most important project. So now this matters because she knows how to craft grant proposals that get funded, which is an art in its own right. And a few years back at one of her salons, she was reading her poetry and just recently had a piece published in the Minneapolis paper about summer. So all of you need to check that out. She joked that while she hears thousands of great ideas, very few emerge as fundable. Thankfully, she sees potential in my projects, and she's put more time into these salons than anyone else in the last 15 years. So tonight I want to make sure in this room everybody knows my brilliant, beautiful, and lovely wife, Catherine. Thank you so much. She also keeps me grounded in, I believe, what's called the 21st century, and I'm just pretending to be here tonight because I really am probably off in the 15th or 19th century. I can never keep track of which one, but that's sort of where I'm at because I am really a dinosaur when it comes to pushing buttons. So to cap off my comments, as you can really tell, collaboration across disciplines is what makes a salon. At this point, I'd like to invite my very good friend, Brigadier General Lowell E. Cruz, to the podium. He is the Senior Commanding Officer at Camp Ripley, Assistant Adjutant General, and since we're speaking about women of power, he was rubbing shoulders with the Queen of Norway yesterday afternoon. So, General, please.
So, good evening. And first off, let's give another round of applause to these amazing ladies. And an amazing artist that brings their likeness to life. Because as I was telling them when we were looking at the painting, you know, one of the coolest things for me when I look at Charles's portraits is to look at the eyes of the subjects. Because he can capture life in an eyeball just amazingly. And truly, that's what makes art special. And so it's that skill of bringing something to life that is special about art. And so a couple of years ago at the Salon, I had the opportunity to talk about how important art is to the military. You know, before we had photography, before we had movies, we relied on artists to document significant events in our lives. And there's no more significant event in the world than war. And so we've had artists throughout years documenting war. And, you know, as we sit back today and talk about the war in Ukraine, you can turn on your TV every day and see that destruction and that chaos. But it was really artists that brought that to the public's attention before and made an effort to show how horrific it was. And so that's the value of art, okay? And so as a military soldier, I appreciate that. When I look at this piece, though, you know, I love the title. This is the future of the National Guard, okay? We are making a concerted effort as leaders to prop up and to make sure that our females in our ranks have all the same opportunities that I have. And that's important to us as senior leaders. And so very fitting that this is going to be highlighted in our Veterans Museum. I'm sorry, I'm a little emotional about it. I don't understand why. Really, it's because it's that important. Their contribution to our nation is just as great as any other individuals. And so thank you for that. Thanks for that opportunity to highlight.
Well, now we can start mingling and get the music back together. So those of you who want to continue sitting and visiting or want to keep roaming around, please feel free to do so. And thank you again for coming to our first salon since 2019. We hope we can keep rocking and rolling with this. Thank you.